You didn't get a copy of last month's meeting, so I got that. Oh, maybe I did. Oh, okay, so one of the works, my bad, guys, the work session and the. That is gonna be July 25th at 10 a.m. here.
Okay.
I'm gonna get over the regular.
Alright, I call this Borough Council meeting for July 14th, 2025, so from the order, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Alright, we had a executive session was held immediately prior to the meeting, to discuss information and strategy related to following litigation, Rockwell versus Goldsboro Borough et al. We also discussed employment matters. Is there any necessary action? No necessary actions at this time. We go right into the public hearing regarding ordinance 2501 or 2025-1, ordinance of the borough of Goldsboro repealing and replacing the prior ordinance, establishing its volunteer emergency services tax credit program for the purposes of updating said program.
All right, so now being the duly advertised time and place for the public hearing for the volunteer emergency services tax credit program, I would do an open hearing. To give a brief overview, I'll give a summary of what the ordinance provides for. Then we'll have a public comment period limited to this particular ordinance, followed by borough council discussion. And at the end of that, we will then close the hearing, and you'll note on the agenda there's a potential action item for motion to adopt ordinance 2025-1. So that would be the general procedure for the public hearing. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Are you gonna review what the changes are or what?
Yes. All right, I'll go ahead and start then. So this ordinance is a culmination of an effort to update the previous ordinance that was enacted for this program with the goal of being further flexibility to make changes to the program by resolution. So it's substantially the same as what was enacted previously, save for that change. And then additionally, there were a couple of items caught in administration of the previous ordinance by the tax collectors that wrote that, I believe.
Charlie.
Okay, yeah, collectively, but in administering the programs that updated to reflect what was desired. So those changes are to clarify that this is a tax credit program because of the enabling legislation referring to it as a credit, but it functions as a refund or rebate in practice. You pay it and give the application and you're credited that amount. It also changes the submission deadline to January 15th rather than March 30th as originally stated. That later deadline caused problems in coordinating the credit with the relevant other authorities, so that's now fixed. It also changes from may be posted to shall be posted of the notarized eligibility list so that everyone knows who's eligible on the program. It adds the definition of volunteer to also include nonprofit EMS services in addition to the fire company services, which are authorized under the enabling legislation. And it also allows the borough to reject insufficient applications in addition to the fire chief under the original program had the ability to reject. So both entities are allowed to reject insufficient applications. Last, it removes social members from eligibility. I caught this when reviewing it because the enabling legislation actually refers to active volunteers specifically to spur engagement in the community and have people join those volunteer services. And there's also a DCED, Department of Community Economic Development agency guidance document that specifically says that social members should not be included. So those are the changes from the original. The same program exists otherwise and is now, upon enactment of this ordinance, able to be amended by a resolution in the future. So with that background, I will go ahead and open the public comment period. If anybody has comments specific to this ordinance, please go ahead and make them. This is not to be confused with the later public comment period that will happen later during the course of the Borough Council meeting. That'll be larger in scope to agenda items.
What's the ordinance number gonna be? 2025 dash?
I believe it's one. Okay, hearing no public comment, I could then offer this up to Borough Council for discussion.
Make a motion, we accept, as written, the ordinance number 2025 dash 1 for the fire tax credit.
So I'll actually step in there. We'll close the public hearing first, and you'll make that action during the course of your regular meeting.
My bad.
All right, hearing no further discussion from Borough Council, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And back to you.
Do we have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-1?
You here?
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, reading of the minutes, council has a copy. Are there any corrections or additions?
Make a motion to accept the work session and the regular, stated session meetings from the 9th and June 9th and July 9th. How's that for confusing?
Okay, we have a second. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, citizens' remarks, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Okay, hearing none. Trash bids, opening and reading of town submitted
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and read these off, and during the course of the meeting, I guess you can skip over me if you don't want to wait for me to review them, before we move
Well, that
on.
doesn't matter.
Okay. But yes, I will review, and then if it's unclear to me whether or not they're sufficient, you can always take the bids under advisement, and we can award them at the next meeting. But if not, you are free to make an award tonight, or notice of intent to award, and then we'll collect signatures on agreements and performance and payment bonds and other outstanding required documents.
He mentioned another one. I
Okay,
don't know if they just contacted him to ask to get the forms or.
alright, so Penn Waste is simple. Penn Waste Inc. respectfully submits a no bid for the Goldsboro bid. At this time, we've elected not to bid as service is not mandatory for residents. Please keep Penn Waste Inc. on your bidders list for bid opportunities in the future.
That's interesting.
Alright. Republic does not look, they do have a cover letter, but it does not have an amount. I'll skip to the bid proposal form. Looks like bid year one, September 1st, 2025 through August 31st, 2026. The total year bid based on 324 units is $128,304.00. That's a bid per unit of $396.00. Year two is September 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2027. Total year bid based on 324 units is $134,719.20 per unit. That is $415.80. And year three, September 1st, 2027 through August 31st, 2028 is $436.56 with total year bid, out of order. Total year bid based on 324 units is $141,445.44. The bid per unit of $436.56.
What was the last amount for third year?
$141,445.44.
Wow.
So that's the only company that submitted a bid then. You all have the opportunity, I'll review this for sufficiency, whether or not it was a complete bid. But then you all would have the option to either tentatively accept it, issue a notice of intent to award. We would go back and collect the outstanding documents, or if you could not award it and rebid, those are essentially the two options.
Did we change any stipulations in there as far as like large pickup items and things like that?
Specifications were worked out with Charlie. I think they largely mirrored the previous services.
Yeah, because we were going for performance, we wanted some kind of performance declaration.
Yes, there were terms in case of non-performance where you could assess penalties, if that was the question. That is in here, in the agreement, so.
Well, can we table this and wait and see, because you said you believe there was a third one, before we reward anything? I mean, come on, with all the complaints with the public and everything else, just like today, all of South Brook Street, none of the recycling was picked up today again.
If
The whole south end of town.
If we could get in contact with Charlie, but ideally, we would do that now, because this is the advertised place for the opening of bids. Yeah, I think that would be appropriate.
Council will be in a short recess.
We couldn't table it.
We advertise to open, so like for the blind bidding, it wouldn't be fair to then find this later.
But then we don't have to accept that, we can go out for bid and what you said.
Yeah, you could you reserve the right to reject all bids. Now, service does lapse somewhat.
Yeah, I didn't know what you guys put this in place to service.
Service ends at the end of August, I believe.
August.
I thought it was September.
The term runs through
It would
August.
say right here.
Yeah, so the bid years that are mirroring the same, it's September 1st through August 31st.
So we have time for our attorney to review the documentation before we award this bid.
I can do that during the course of meetings, because the only thing I'll be reviewing right now is sufficiency of response.
I tried.
You can always reserve the right to award, take the bids under advisement, and then award at the next meeting. If you were to do that though, that really shortens your time frame on potentially rebidding this before service lapses.
That's a special meeting, so. It's a no.
It wouldn't be special meeting concerns, it would be advertising it and opening, and just the general time frames that are required.
I don't really think they're a company, I think we gotta look at something this year.
What about waste management? They do municipal, residential.
I look at KBS, I know they sort of trash services, we got waste management out there, I mean, did the people just not see it, or,
It was advertised.
well, you said the one didn't get the paperwork in, Charlie said, or?
You know,
I mean, even people that were aware of it submitted a no bid.
bid, then you don't go by it.
Well, Penn Waste was how we had last time, I mean, we were kind of counting on them. I think there's just a lot of complaints.
I don't think you want waste management, they will not be the lowest bid. And by law, we gotta take the lowest bid.
No, we don't have to.
We don't?
We don't have to take the lowest bid, right?
You do have to take the lowest bid.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we went through this whole formal process, and we got one, and that's the only one we got. Legally, I think we have to award it to them.
You reserve the right to reject all bids, but if, for example, there was another bid that was a higher price point that we opened, you could not award to them instead of this low bidder, if that makes sense.
Don't get me wrong, my trash can be picked up today, so.
Oh, I know, that's all that. I mean, but I guess we can't go back and change any clauses or anything,
Well, we have performance, we have performance information.
So the biggest thing is the large items. I mean, that should be something they should pick up regardless, because the trucks down here running around, and, you know, people have to call in and stuff like that's a pain, because sometimes they still don't pick it up for 2 or 3 weeks.
Dude, mine stuff, you know.
I think almost all waste management companies, you gotta call when you have a large item, they don't.
I know they do where my sister lives.
You
You gotta call. Everybody does that because they don't have one guy on the truck anymore with the new dumpsters. They don't have, they have 2 people, they need 2 people.
Well, why don't we let him review his documentation and continue on with it?
So we'll move on to, police report. Chief Lex.
Evening, council, evening, residents. So for the month of June, Goldsboro, we handled 49 incidents. One of those was a traffic accident. We issued 3 citations, 5 warnings. The other calls for service were 911 hangout, abandoned vehicles, animal complaints, child lines, referral, disturbing EMS calls, fire calls, missing person, juvenile, parking complaints, service call miscellaneous, suspicious vehicle, theft of vehicle, trespass, and welfare check. I will give you a little bit of information. At the last council meeting, you did say that there was a speeding issue on South York Street, so I did place the box out there. And surprisingly, over a week's time, there was 9,249 vehicles that went through there, which I was amazed. I didn't think there was that many vehicles. I was thinking it was 7, but 9,200 is pretty much. The average speed is 30. The 85th percentile speed is 35. So that's typically what PennDOT and everybody that does traffic studies goes off the 85th percentile. It means that 85% of the vehicles are traveling 35 miles an hour. So with this information, it provided me with a time frame of where most vehicles are approaching that speed limit and where we can actually enforce some violations. So we are targeting that particular time frame, and you should see our vehicles out there a little bit more frequently, providing there's no emergency calls that are taking place.
What was that? I was gonna say last week when I was out there.
Yeah, they
They were
said
hitting.
parking on Southern Wall
best to try to curtail that, but I wanted to report back on that, the findings from that device that was placed out there. I actually forgot that it was out there, and, when yanked it all.
Yeah, I noticed it's sitting up there for a while. I think it was probably dead after a week.
Yeah, it only lasts 7 days, especially when you're talking almost, 9,500 vehicles, hopefully that battery will last so long.
Not the car, people up here had an office in front of the house, and I was sitting on the porch, and he had a white car run from him on Whistler Road. Is that
Today?
the white car that they just got a little while ago?
Today?
Yeah.
That guy's in custody right now. It was a danger to the public and other people. What's that?
There's some of that going on. There's a lot of hoodlums out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have certain guidelines in which we have to follow, and obviously the need to apprehend somebody is there, but we have to weigh the community as well, right? We don't wanna be chasing somebody or trying to apprehend somebody and put other people's lives in danger, so at one point in time, we did discontinue the attempt to capture him. He wasn't stopping, and then he got picked up a little bit farther by another officer. They got picked up a little bit farther by someone in Fairview Township, and, lo and behold, he's currently in custody. Yeah, it's a large oak tree kind of stopped, yes. But other than that, I
Good job,
understand.
that's all I say, good job.
What's that?
Good job. They've done a good job down here.
Other than that, National Night Out is coming up. I will attempt to get an officer down here for a period of time, just as I do every year. I can't dedicate somebody here for the whole amount of time because we have an event that Newberry Township that is actually put on, police department runs it, so, but I will make sure that somebody is here for a period of time, usually an hour during that time, 6 to 8, but.
Yeah, yes, so, yeah.
So, that's all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes. In case they give you a heads up, resident contacts you up at Shelley's, the young man's racing his dirt bike up through Shelley's. I was just contacted by the secretary today. She fielded a phone call from somebody, Schlesserman.
I don't know what it is.
Schlesser or Schlesser.
That's the complainer, that's the guy.
That's the guy that's driving.
Slushy.
But he's racing up and down.
Yeah.
But he's racing up and down Shelley's. And it's not street.
Is it the same slumber family that's been around here for the last 15 years?
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
So, but that is slumber.
Yes.
Do our best to see what we can do to kill that. Is there a specific time where Mr. Slumber is riding his vehicle?
Throughout the day, like this afternoon, it was this morning, and then at other times, it's usually in the afternoon.
Yeah.
What is the night
It's fifth. Be the first Tuesday of August.
Yeah, it's in later in the, agenda here. I mentioned it.
Any other questions?
All right, need a motion to, approve the, police report?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, Chief Smith, with the fire department.
For the month of June, we had 3 structures, 1 vehicle fire, 1 auto accident with injury, brush fire, medical assist, 3, fire police, 2, public service, 2, investigation, 1, automatic alarms, 5, total calls for the month, 23, all apparatus are in service, and, EV, we have training at the end of the month. And for National Night Out, we're doing a static display along with children involvement with UTV and a code line and target. They put the fire out there. That's all I have.
All right, any, questions from council on the mayor, or on the, fire department report? All right, need a motion to approve the fire department report? Second?
make this real quick. Weed abatement throughout the borough. Reminder to all residents, make sure that their sidewalks are cleared of weeds. And obviously from the curb to the street, it's really not the residents' responsibility. However, it would be nice if they would be willing to take the extra 5 minutes to clear any weeds along the curb and the roadway. Ordinances and resolutions. Reminder, if an ordinance is enforced by the mayor himself, it's not customary for the mayor to reveal any one individual that filed a complaint if it was in confidence. So, but the enforcement of ordinances falls under the mayor as the direct guidance. 36 West Broadway, that's Thorn right now. I'm respectfully putting. They're in the process. I actually spoke to the homeowner. It's the old Gross residence next to Josh's place. I actually spoke to the homeowner. They're totally gutted the entire inside of that house. So they've been slowly taking the material off the property. They've gone down the studs. They got all the horsehair plaster out and everything. They're in the process of remodeling. It's just tedious and time consuming. And there's a couple of the letters that are going to be going out here regarding the appearance and upkeep of their the residents. The old bank, being one of them, and down in Southfield, two properties down there. I spoke to two residents up here regarding their yards, and they had their lawns, and the grass was up to the shins. Borough newsletter. I'd like to know if there could be a place for maybe the mayor to put out some information. I think that would be useful or helpful for residents. Like a mayor's corner or something. Also looking to try to get a status of the office and gym. Do we know where things sit with that? Is that going to be a completed process? Because it's been over 2 years now.
Yeah, we'll have to, let that out, Charlie, get back to it.
All right. And desperately in need of a point of contact for the animal control that we have a contract with.
We have a contract with Blue Animal Control.
Fine. Just so you know, I'm gonna request animal control if he's willing to come in. There's a family of 6 skunks living in or near Harriet Reeser's property. And they are all over the property. They're in that property, they're in right across the street, feeding off the bird feed, and then where the pigeons work, they're in the backyard in the evenings. But I'm looking to just have a humane removal and taken somewhere else. But North York Street. I would like to re-engage with the state, with that being a state road, to see if I get the speed limit sign going south. There's only one speed limit sign going north, right off the square, and it's right at Doherty's old property, the Victorian. And that's even covered by trees, which I need to go and have a talk with him to go and cut the trees back so you can actually see the speed limit sign. But going south on North York Street, there are no speed limit signs. And also possibly putting out slow, maintain speed, children at play. Because there are kids out, literally out roller skating, riding bike in the borough, and there's people racing up and down the street. But re-engage with possibly getting signs up. And the funds for the hall and park rental. I know this was addressed once before. I'm curious as to, currently right now, do funds go into the general account, or are they going into the parks and
We
recreation?
usually go into the general.
I'm going to ask this, why are they going into the general and not parks and recreation to help fund the parks and recreation?
Because I believe the maintenance and the lawn care come out of the general.
So if somebody rents the hall here for $150, and it costs how much to clean?
I don't know.
That's what I'm getting at. So like, if it only costs $15,
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, it goes into the general, because I was told that the maintenance comes out of the general. So the lawn care, the cleaning, all that stuff comes out of the general.
okay. I don't know if that's something that we want to, okay. then my next question, why do we even have a Parks and Recreation account?
And there's only like $4 in it.
No, there's like 8,000.
It's not showing in the budget.
Yeah, it's not what I
That's
thought.
what we budgeted. What was it, 8,000? I think it was 6, and so we should put a little more into it, but we did the budget last year. So I know the budget for
Yeah, it doesn't have it.
This is what I'm looking for. Now granted, if there's money to be in there, there's money to be in there, that's bills. Yeah, I know bills. But I don't even know if it's reflected anywhere else in here. But I know, first page,
Last thing it said, receipts recreation fund $1.30.
Yeah.
I know we have money budgeted for recs, parks and recs.
So like you say,
It's physically, I'm not sure, but we have budgeted amount.
okay. Well, I think that's something we should put out here and actually advertise and make sure that's seen for anybody, or on a regular, on the budget sheet, you know? And, you know, the reason why I'm asking that is because any of the money that's taken in for the home rental or the park rentals, we have a park that has no bathroom started. There was money earmarked for that. And that was back in what, 2000, what,
21, I think.
21?
Yeah, I know.
that.
I believe it's the same, I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's some of it's.
Yeah, and would like to see it, you know, movement one or the other, you know, or both, you know, we've got a timeline. Are we working on any kind of, or is it just, oh, well, I'll do a little here and do a little there? That's all I have.
I think there's a lot of material laying up here to finish these offices and do this stuff. And there were several people that offered to help and volunteer to help Charlie do this. Nothing's been done. And I think it should be, the process ought to start soon to get this stuff done. How long have we been waiting for a restroom or down there at the park? Now, we also now got a dog park where you got to build a public restroom, whatever you wanna call it. And at both locations, there's porta potties. How much are we spending? How much the borough is spending a month for those porta potties?
$130 a week.
And the reason why I asked about the gym up here is because if you're looking to rent that out as a venue, I certainly hope we do better than how we rent this out down here. And the amount of money that's going into renovating that.
So-
Makes sense.
You know, one of the options I think we always have is to put it out, have someone come in and work on it.
Yeah, I think in the interest of trying to save money, it's been on Charlie's list, but Charlie's
Right.
list is overflowing.
Yeah.
More
And
important
physically-
to worry about.
No, I'm not saying it's Charlie's fault. I'm
Well, I'm just saying that we
something's
always
gotta
have
be
the
done.
option to actually,
Pardon?
so we always have the option.
We could always contract
To
it
bid
out.
it, to contract out.
Yeah.
That's all.
Any other discussion for mayor's report?
Make a motion to accept the mayor's report.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Alright. ELH&P report and motor company report. Is there any discussion on those reports?
So we have a little increase on
Yeah, we have two cent increase in,
The electric.
report and water company report? Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Engineers report? Is there anything for that? Any questions for the engineer? Not any motion to accept the engineer's report? Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Solicitor's report.
I don't have anything by way of a formal report, but I was able to review the bid, and it is a completely responsive bid. So it's your discretion whether or not to make the motion to issue the notice of intent to award and collect the outstanding contract documents, the signed agreement, and the performance bond, and move forward with the award process, or you could potentially take the bid under advisement for your next meeting. You could also invoke your right to reject all bids received, but I would caution that we're butting up against the deadline for service lapsing. That does lapse at the end of August, so September 1st would be the day one without service, without a contract in place.
My question is, are we aware of what Penn Waste meant by there's no requirement for residents?
I have no idea. The operative consideration is that they submitted a no bid.
I just want to ask a question. If you decide to take it under advisement for another meeting, or, I'm sorry, no. If you decide to reject the bids, does that negate the public from bidding again if you republicize it?
No,
They can bid again.
correct.
Guys,
And also, they would be armed with the knowledge of nobody else wanting the bid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And could potentially raise the
Mhm.
rates.
guys, I'm gonna put a motion on the table to accept the public services bid. I don't feel that we have a lot of choice on that.
This would be proceeding with the notice of intent to award.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
So we can get them under the performance clause if we have an issue.
Yes, and I have that if you would like me to read it, just so that you know. Alright, penalties. In case of any violations of the contract, the borough shall notify the collector of such violation and allow a reasonable time not to exceed 24 hours for correction prior to assessing any penalty against the contractor. All violations and penalties therefore shall be certified by the borough and its judgment shall be final. Failure of truck and crew to operate and complete collections on a regular route and or between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. unless prevented by labor strike or work stoppage, hurricanes, floods, significant snow or ice, or other violence of nature or any other event which may be termed an act of God. $100 per day for each truck and crew not operating or not completing collections on a regular route within the time allocated for collection. Failure to maintain any collection vehicle sanitary and safe operating conditions, $50 for each offense. Willful damage or carrying away of permanent refuse containers, $25 for each offense, or at the option of the collector may satisfactorily replace damaged or removed containers. Spilling municipal waste or recyclable materials onto any public street or private property and not properly cleaning up such spills, $100 for each solid spill and $125 for each liquid spill. Failure to record or report complaints to borough or to make collectors quarterly report to the borough concerning complaints and disposal information, $75. Each failure constitutes a separate offense. So if they were late 2 days, that would be 2 offenses at $100 each.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Committee reports, buildings and grounds, nothing listed there, emergency management.
Nothing there. Oh, well, I have a meeting scheduled with, York County's coming up here, we're meeting on, what did I say, July 25th, 10 a.m. to discuss, just to discuss 3 miles, starting up, what we're looking for there. I was in there and moved some things around in the room, and I bounced around some batteries on some chargers, making sure everything was charged up and still worked. That's about as far as I am.
Still on the same frequency and everything?
I haven't adjusted frequency on anything, so.
I can get Scott Peter up here to look at the radios.
I was swapping around, making sure the batteries still charged up and they were still working and stuff, but
Yeah.
as far as frequencies changing, and then the ham radio stuff that's in the corner, I have not played with any of those frequencies at all.
Okay, and I have a ham radio operator, I can come in. I'm sure we have point of contacts, we'll see if he's still out there from the one that's before. On the fire department side, in conjunction with EMA, I've submitted for a grant for 4 dosimeters, radioactive dosimeters, detectors, for use with the fire department in preparation of them going active again. So, but the county is, they have a lot of equipment that'll be available to us if needed, if we have issues. But
Yeah, and I want to see the air monitoring stations stay up down here.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're big, they're good.
Okay, finance, we have the borough still getting a return of 4.3% pliget accounts. We have on there listed, looking for a motion to approve or we're looking for some type of donation for National Night Out. The borough.
What did we normally do?
I don't remember.
I think it was 1,000.
That sounds about right, that's not correct.
Make a motion, we donate $1,000 out of the general fund to that out.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Alright, nothing under planning. For recreation, we have National Night Out, August 5th at 6 p.m. And, we're going to plan on a fall Oktoberfest, fall fest in October. So I guess more information will be coming out with that in the next couple months.
Will that be held down at the borough park?
I would assume so, yeah. Anything for sanitation and sewer?
No.
Streets and highways, nothing for that.
I saw they put the poles in going out of the hill for the street lights.
Yep. So the property located, we have it listed here as the Bauman property. That's located, directly, is on the south side of the stream. You go up over the hill. They came to us and asked if we could provide them with, electricity from the borough. Because how the property sold it, because they're just in building a house or something there. And are to get electricity.
Is that borough property, or is that all under the township? Outside of the borough.
Most of it is outside the borough, yes. There
There
is.
could be an issue there with the PUC, that we need to check and see if there's an ordinance or resolution or anything in place.
Right, so,
Well, that'll give us an opportunity to put it on the street light down here. Above and beyond what we were gonna do.
I think we went all the way.
They're as far as they went. Kingdom.
They're
I thought
down.
that we were on the property without the street light.
I think it's already happened.
I'd like to see some light power in here.
I say we need to look into that because we could get fined significantly from the PUC.
It would be worse than a fine, then you'd be subjected to PUC jurisdiction, which is, much worse than a fine.
So you're advising us that if that property is outside of the borough?
So the
or a portion of the property, or how's that work?
So Matt forwarded me this late last week, and I started looking into it, and I see the sliver in the creek, and it looks like the property from what I understand is undeveloped.
It's currently.
Okay, yeah, so, the main consideration with it being situated between the township and the borough would be where the proposed point of outside the borough's limits and the township's municipal boundaries, then it doesn't mean you necessarily couldn't provide service, but I would recommend as the safest course of action to prepare and submit a petition for declaratory order with the PUC saying, we know that this is outside of our municipal boundaries, however, there are certain protections in place, we're going to treat them as any other ratepayer. So we're asking you to not assert your jurisdiction over this particular parcel.
So you're working on
Well, Matt asked me to look into it, and that's just preliminarily, what my feedback would be. There are circumstances and unique, challenges where there may or may not be another electric provider, or like mountains or geographic figures, or, situations that present difficulties providing service to discrete numbers of properties. The PUC has said affirmatively, we're not going to assert our jurisdiction over you because we understand that you're just providing, you're not providing service to the public, you're providing it to these limited amounts of customers. So that would be the safe approach if the point of interconnection were outside of the borough.
So, do we want to direct him to fully look into it, or?
Yeah, but, we can't get in trouble with it.
Right.
I know that is on the way down Pine Road there, and that property was only purchased for home, so it's not like he's building a house up there.
I saw it was purchased like within the last year or so,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because he let the kids do the shops, do the transportation and stuff this year, he did go play the property, but my location also was property on the other side of that creek, on that side. And that's
That
not
long
saying, but
creek.
it's outside the borough.
The first thing that I would need is just more information from the property owner of what they're proposing or thinking about by way of the development, where
Is the creek the property line or the borough?
It's right at the creek.
There's a
But
small-
his intentions, I think he wants to put a camper or something up there to hunt, his wife wants away.
There's a small sliver that's technically in the road on the other side of the creek.
You see, probably stay,
He said to me, I mean, they're going to be primarily about that property for money. Using it for something. I thought they were-
so I guess all we table that until we just go into some detail.
yeah, it'll be communication with the property owner. I'll coordinate with Charlie or whoever is the best point of contact.
So we have to make
So we have to make sure, I mean, we don't want that kind of address because it's all, you know, it's like the real.
Yeah, usually in circumstances like that, there will be some kind of letter issued that says we are not interested in providing service to this particular property, so that the PUC knows
So
that
you're
nobody's
gonna
totally,
proceed.
you're being set on. Yeah, I'll work with Charlie.
But then my other question, if we do decide to provide power to the property owner is gonna be paying for everything to go with it?
So that's what we would work out with them. Hey, if you're interested in building this, we notice that this is on the township's municipal boundary. If you're interested in getting, service from the borough, you're going to have to pay for a petition for declaratory order, something to that effect.
So I mean.
Yeah, I can't imagine this would be any different.
Typically, the property owner pays for the poles and wires and all that.
Is he going, well, if he's gonna pay for it, then that's, he owns the poles and the wire. We're gonna just provide the electricity. I hope, depending on where he puts his camper.
I don't think that
It would be some kind of agreement that you would dedicate the facilities or
Yeah,
something like
he'd
that.
be paying for the poles, and we'd be.
And how far, I guess what I'm getting at, is he going third of a mile up on the mountain? Because if he's planning on putting a camper down there along the creek, that's in a floodplain.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you're
You're
right.
right, gonna have to stay out there.
That's why we need more information.
Yeah.
What it's intended to do.
Alright, so you table that?
Any other zoning?
Zoning, nothing under zoning, so we need any further, discussion on committee reports? If not, I need a motion to approve the committee reports.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I don't have anything for unfinished business. The council person's comments. Ron?
Yeah, I have a couple here actually. Does anybody have any idea when our EMS contract is coming up? A lot of people were really unhappy with Fairview due to the high cost.
they're at, I suggest we contact them and invite them down to tour the,
Why don't you touch base with Charlie and see when the contract renews?
Yeah, I mean, we only have 3 miles of road, it's kind of hard to, you know.
I'm gonna double down on that because we should definitely look at the contract, also the well span's going in. So that's gonna be another ambulance service other than UPMC, well span, Fairview. So we
where's
need to
Will
look-
Spring gonna?
the micro hospital.
I know that.
They're gonna have 1 to 2 EMS units staged out of that hospital.
And I have one other thing I wanted to bring up. Will brought this up too, about the boat launch down here. Any idea, I mean, what would be your thoughts if, like us in Newberry would try to go together, like the Park and Recreation, and try to see if we could take over the Fish and Boat Commission down here? Because they really do not keep it mowed, it's trashy, there's a lot of riffraff going on. I think if we could move forward, I mean, with the state, everything.
I'd be interested in having the borough take it over, not Newberry, the borough.
Oh, well, the problem I'm looking at here is that the Newberry police are patrolling it right now. We don't really have the equipment here, you know, backhoes and stuff like that to do dead trees, you know, another way to be honest, with you, we have friends that cost a lot of money. Newberry, you know, they have a lot of equipment, they can fix the holes down there, potholes, stone, millings, whatever. I mean,
I'm not interested in Newberry, but.
Has anybody talked to the fish commission to see if they would just, okay, we'll just hand the property over?
Well, no, we could look into that. I mean, obviously, that would be safe for the state, we could take it over and do something like a nonprofit with it. You know what I mean?
I'm not interested in that. If anything, it would be, it's the borough's property, I mean, it's in the borough's jurisdiction, the
Right.
borough's park. That's it.
I mean, do you think the borough would be able to do that? I mean, as far as taking care of it and stuff like that, I mean, it's gonna cost a little bit, but I'd be game for it, to try to get that ball moving forward, and then we could get rid of the riffraff.
Yeah, I mean, as far as maintaining it and stuff, I mean, once it's brought up to a better level than it is, I don't think it would be that much of a problem. But,
We do need like more lighting down there and stuff like that, because that's a lot of problem, there's a lot of dark spots down there, that's why the kids are down there doing their burnout or whatever they're doing, and.
The big
I
thought
did-
behind that would be to, and I'm sorry, Will, go ahead.
I did see, I've been kind of snooping around down there too, to see if there's been any fish commission guys. They did have 2 boats down there, there was about 4 fish commission guys running around down there on the 4th of July, so I was pleased to at least see that. You know, because previously I hadn't seen a whole lot.
I passed a fish commission, maintenance truck the other day on Valley, but.
Well, we have a game ordinance coming down there too all the time.
I think if the borough was to pursue something like that, it would be beneficial to us. Because you could do fishing tournaments down there, you know, it's endless, you could hold a riverside carnival down there, you know, whatever, you know, that kind of stuff, to draw and attract people.
How do we approach a fish commission about that?
I'm not entirely familiar with how you go about that, but I would imagine you just start with opening up, start with writing a letter, opening line of dialogue and seeing what exactly the concerns would be.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's just gonna continue to go down the toilet,
It is.
unless
Now-
we have ownership of it.
Yeah, because I mean, they're not paying the same attention to it they used to.
And it's gonna be grown right back up again, we're gonna be pulling the turn off the electric, and there won't be no street lights, and it'll be.
Saturday, there were 50 neon vehicles down there.
We're not looking to keep the fish commissioners out of here. You
No,
know,
no.
It's still doing what they gotta do, but we wanna maintain the property and take care of it and bring up the.
Yeah, it would still be a public launch.
Right.
And stuff, but.
So I think we'll come together and start something like that. If everybody's game with that.
Everything should be stopped.
Yeah, that boat can run real well.
Okay, I'll look into that. Yes. Do you have any more, Ron? Mike? Rob?
No.
Bill?
Nope.
Will? citizens' remarks. If you have any remarks, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. All right, hearing none. New business. We had have here a discussion about forming a hiring committee to interview candidates for the borough manager and make recommendations to council. Any discussion?
So we confirmed with the solicitor that basically it's gonna be the vice president,
For president.
yeah, I'm sorry, president, and then 2 council people. And then we discussed that we'd like to get a resident on it as well, if we could.
Back what it said, that we weren't allowed to have that person if we did it during the executive session.
So you can take any number of forms with this. You can form the committee, and then they can undertake this effort and provide recommendations to you to consider as a larger group. You would still be able, as a group, not the committee, to hold your executive sessions with any potential candidates, because it's one of the authorized purposes under the Sunshine Act to hold executive sessions to discuss prospective employees. So it's really what shape you want it to take. Do you want the committee to do some legwork for you and form a recommendation? Would you prefer to do this interviews in executive session? Prefer to do them at a public meeting? It's really, I understand that this is the infancy of developing this process, and you all just had a workshop meeting discussing a couple of options, but there are options in front of you.
Rob, did you sit on that interview committee for Charlie?
Yes.
Briefly.
I would say committee makes sense for the fact of, just timing wise, like we want to get this thing started sooner than later, and we're gonna have to do a executive thing to then have them come in at that time particularly. I'm available to be on the committee, but flexibility.
Do we want to do the committee then without a resident? Because that would, for interviews, they
I
have.
thought we were gonna ask for a resident.
And how do we choose the president?
I said if we did it with a resident, it would have, you couldn't have it in interviews in the executive session, it would have to be.
Well, I mean, the committee with less than a quorum and the resident, you can still make recommendations to the board, but it's whether you would prefer to have the formal interviews amongst full council and executive session, or however you would structure it. Like the committee could be working on the application or the structure of reaching out to people, or doing some of the legwork for all this process as well.
I'm gonna get the committee to go out, create the application, which I think you've already done that basically.
Basically done a lot of that.
Hold the interviews, and then have those council members bring that information back to council to vote, or to vote on the selection. I mean, is that, what do you guys think of?
That's what I would say.
That's what I would be in favor of.
But then, to hold those interviews with the resident present, would those be public or would they be private?
I wanna have private interviews.
You would still have private interviews, yes. If you chose to have them private, you could choose to have them public, but it's your option.
So you said you were available?
So we would, first we need a motion to start the committee?
You form a committee, yeah.
So we need a motion to form the committee first.
Make a motion, we form, the president and 2 council members to form a committee for the hiring of a new borough manager. That's what we're looking for?
With a resident or with?
How do we choose a resident?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, my motion's gonna say without a resident.
Without a resident.
It just makes it, I hate that, but it makes it cleaner.
So to be clear, this committee has no ability to make any kind of
It would be
vote
recommendation.
or agency business or anything like that. It would be purely recommending body to come back to borough council.
Borough council.
Yes,
Make
so any
recommendations.
decision would still have to be made by borough council.
Full borough council.
Correct.
Okay, so we need a second.
That's my motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have any nominations for interviews I intend on holding in the evening, so.
Okay.
We'll meet.
So it'll be in the evening?
I'd like to nominate Rob and Ron Combs.
Or Rob, I mean, I know he works out of town sometimes, I mean.
I will be able to give notices to when I am going out to have an alternate.
I'd second it.
Okay, so a second on Rob and
Ron.
And you?
any other nominations? Alright, hearing none, we need a motion to appoint Ron and Rob to the hiring committee.
That was his motion.
Well, that was,
Oh, okay, let me,
Yep, so I'll second it.
then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We need a motion to approve, we have a resolution, 2025-3, which is,
The intergovernmental agreement,
yes, the,
the Chesapeake Bay.
resolution to extend the term of the amended and reinstated intergovernmental cooperation agreement for the implementation of the York County Regional Chesapeake Bay Pollution Reduction Plan.
What's that cost us, do you know? It was minuscule to what it could be.
It's not, doesn't say it in the,
I mean, I know it's cheaper than us developing our, building our own plant, but you say that. I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have another resolution, 2025-4, York County 2024 Hazard Mitigation Plan Municipal Adoption Resolution. County.
Copies down here somewhere?
I have my copy. It's passed around.
What's it about?
It is. Sorry. Whereas the Goldsboro Borough, York County, Pennsylvania is most vulnerable to natural and human-made hazards which may cause life, property, and economic hardship, threats to the public health and safety. And whereas Section 322 of the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2020, OMA 2000, or I'm sorry, not 2000, OMA 2000 requires state and local governments to develop and submit for approval to the president a mitigation plan that outlines the process for identifying the respective natural hazards, risks, and vulnerabilities. Whereas the Goldsboro Borough acknowledges the requirement of Section 322 of OMA 2000 to have an approved hazard mitigation plan as a prerequisite to receive post-disaster hazard mitigation grant program funds.
Where just come from?
The county, or Byron, part of the presentation Byron did.
Oh.
So, yeah,
That was the thing about the program.
right.
Yeah,
That's-
it's downtown, buildings, it's like plane.
Yeah, that's what this is.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-4 for the York County 2024 hazard mitigation.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Now, they said on that, resolution, they were gonna go around and look at people's properties, see if they were out of compliance to that.
I think somebody did.
They were gonna do, now keep in mind, I don't know where Goldsboro fits in the whole state, right? But I thought they were gonna start looking at satellite imaging, trying to identify what was here 4 years ago and what's here now as far as buildings, propane tanks, stuff like that. And then someday would lead into a physical audit of them coming. I think they were, don't hold me to this, I think they were gonna do kind of 1,000-foot literally view, see where the priorities were, and they were gonna address them through the state. And where we fit on that, I don't know.
Do you recall that?
Okay, treasurer's report, council should have a copy. Any discussion on that?
I'll make a motion. Okay.
I only have one question. Why does it seem like the total insurance keeps going up? Like there was like a lot last year or last month.
The insurance?
Yeah. I mean, this one's showing what the national night out, liability insurance, $1,080. It was really high last month.
I know our insurance did go up this year. Not sure what all this insurance covers, but, I'm not sure if it's something that covers fire costs or not. My house insurance went up. Our insurance went up.
But this is like, it was up a lot last month, and then I see this, like I said, this is like the national night out, liability insurance, I don't know why it's so high last month.
Yeah,
They didn't really have any function or anything, I don't know.
we'll have to,
So we had a movie night, it ran out, I mean, it was one thing.
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to check the chart to see. Find out.
Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
All those in favor? Opposed? Presentation of the bills, any discussion on the bills?
Make a motion to pay the bills.
All those in favor? Opposed? Next council meeting is scheduled for August 11th at 6:30. We need a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I say one more thing before we go. During the last meeting, we had, Charlie said about how the utilities, the maps, for the utilities, way off, where water lines and things like that. Is he updating that stuff? Is that going to change on the maps for the new manager?
I don't know how you would find the water lines for the ground, because they're not, digging a bunch of holes and
Well,
stuff.
I'm saying, if they're down there fixing it, it doesn't match up what's on the map, and they know where it was, because it's
A
on.
lot of that isn't map.
Huh?
Some of that isn't map. The only reason some of it's map going up Shelley's is because those guys came in here and put in, at fiber optic line.
So nothing's been updated with the maps.
It might be, that's the only part that's probably even on the map. There might be some other stuff.
All right. I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Ron, if you, keep me abreast, then I'll keep you abreast. You can keep me abreast, and I'll keep you abreast.
Hey, Matt, is there anything on how Harley's doing?
He said his knee hurts. But he's doing well. He's awake and, feisty.
I think he started physical therapy today.
Oh, that's good.
No, they get you up the day they coach.
He's gonna be uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. I talked to him earlier